Welcome to episode 162 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. Going over UFC Fight Night, Rose Namajunas versus Amanda Ribas. And more specifically, we have arrived at the prelims portion of the show. And if you're watching this, you're our type of guy watching the Fight Night prelims. Shout out to you, good sir. or lady. Appreciate you. But yeah, hit like and subscribe because if you're watching this, we like the same thing you like. And that's watching fights, every fight, and winning money off of fights. So yeah, man, jerking the curtains here. I was actually kind of shocked here at this kind of card placement, which me and you were always picky about. Like I see everybody like on Twitter wants to be matchmaker. That job's way too hard. Let me be like card
placement manager. Yeah.
Seriously, like I would crush that job.
Here's all I'm saying is, how is Igor Severino and Andre Lima, two DWCS guys, fighting over two proven UFC fighters?
Well, and like it's like, all right, you like Usman, like it or not, is your Ultimate Fighter champion.
Correct.
Like
yeah.
if we're gonna put was he 3-0 now? I believe 3-0 in the promotion. Ultimate Fighter champion jerking the curtains on an Apex prelim. Like, what's the point of the show? Like, you're telling me not to watch next season. Like, I love Shevchenko Grasso, but I'm not going to expect the champion to go on to accomplish great things because we got the tough champion jerking the curtains on an Apex prelim. This ain't jerking the curtains for UFC 300 or UFC 299. No. Apex prelim, like, not even my opinion, but I feel like a lot of opinions out there, like a female headline Apex Fight Night prelim, like
it's a tough. It's tough, man. Especially when I'm a big Parkin Dick rider too. Like I actually really like his skill set and I like his gym. I like his age in the division. I see such a high ceiling for Parkin. I worry that his floor might be below where they try to matchmake him potentially. I think that might be a problem. But also with Usman, I do see probably the best athlete in the heavyweight division.
He is super athletic too, and it's just whack because he relies on it so much, and he kind of has no
excuse crutch. It's a crutch.
Like he has like every access to every coach and facility and training partner. I mean, the last name Usman gets you. I'm sure it gets you pretty far if you're in the mixed martial arts business.
I'd imagine.
And not to mention your own credentials, you're the Ultimate Fighter champion. He has, the Colorado gym, and I mean the world at his fingertips, right? And it's just like, nah, dog, I'm about to just throw obvious ass right hands, but they're gonna be quick and they're gonna be strong. But I'm basically getting a street fight out here.
Yeah, quite literally. Like it felt like he was street fighting, and bro, he would yell before he would throw a punch, overtly, Rrr! And it was like, bro, you can't do that.
And the duck, I always to say on the show, I'm no Teddy Atlas. I'm no Trevor Whitman. I'm not trying to out here sound like a smart mark, but telegraph shots. If I'm seeing it, it's like if you're watching football, if you're watching an NFL game and I can tell you're in cover 3, then you need to disguise your coverage better. You're at the highest level. Yeah, 100%. Usman was gonna duck, do his little ollie shuffle and throw a right, and it was good. When it landed, it was nasty, but
yeah, speaking of,
super obvious.
Man, honestly, I mean, what did Parkin come in at here? Minus
130.
Minus 130, right. And then Usman was plus 110, correct?
Yep, and I got to eat this one. I picked Usman. Now, granted, I gave it as a 1-star, but you were Parkin all the way, so once again, tipping my hat, good sir.
I did go Parkin 1-star, but I will say as well in our betting video, for anyone that watched it, first of all, like we said in the last episode, main card, shout out to you for watching the betting video. Good for you. But we did say that we both loved the over here. The over was the best bet.
Yes, we did.
And it goes to decision.
Yeah, and the over hit. So for sure, we said we told you on our betting show that even though I picked Usman and you picked Parkin, we were both 1-star. But we told you that if you're going to take any advice from us on this breakdown, bet the over. So that cash. I got to shine my wheels where I can here on this prelims because it wasn't great for you, boy.
Yeah, and you could catch the over 2.5 here at minus 180. So
not horrible, especially if you throw it on a parlay. But man, how'd you score round 1?
Man, so that being said, those right hands were landing in round 1. Got a nice cut opened over Parkin, so the visual damage was definitely there. Parkin, nice leg kicks, a lot of money in the bank. But overall damage, definitely Usman. And really, neither guy shot a takedown the whole fight. So the control, as far as like grappling control, this was really just a kickboxing match. Really a boxing match.
Yeah. Well,
with the exception of low kicks, yeah.
Which were landing, but the round one definitely for Usman for sure. I agree with, like, my notes are verbatim to your breakdown, so I'll keep it pushing here. Round two, I like Mick Parkin. The calf kicks, once again, just landing those, and Usman, like, might as well be in a boxing match, like, / wrestling. Like, he will not throw a kick to save his life. I've thrown more kicks this year than fucking Usman has, and like,
I feel like he has short legs.
That's definitely, but really long arms, so it makes sense. He's boxing heavy approach, but Parkin calf kicks, and so basically the right hand, the nukes, the super athletic right hands from Usman were landing in one. They weren't landing as frequently in two. Like, Parkin was starting to get reads. He was starting to dial in the defense to the counters. I don't know, better in round two from Parkin for sure.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you. I have it as a competitive second round, but Parkin avoided all the big shots. So
yes, that was huge.
Oh yeah, because he was stacking the damage on the leg kicks and the jabs, which are light, but they're adding up throughout the course of the round. So if you can just evade the big bombs, Usman's not going to be able to catch you if you just keep that pace.
1,000%. Yep, I agree. For sure. Yeah, I actually like this matchmaking. There's not many fun fights you can make at the back end of heavyweight. This is like the one fun fight you could have made at the back end of the heavyweight. So, shout out. That's why I didn't like the card placement. But yeah, keeping it pushing. We both have a 1 round apiece going into 3. Now, round 3, closest round of the fight. So this fight was like entertaining. It really was.
I'm glad you agree. Yeah. This is a round where I said I could make a case for either guy in, to be quite honest.
Yes. 1,000%, because Usman was landing his bombs, which is how we won round 1, basically. However, Parkin, more calf kicks, more jabs, but here's the difference. The counters started to really time out for Parkin. It wasn't just jabs and calf kicks like round 2. He was making reads, he was building. Like, as the fight went along, Parkin's level, you know what I mean?
And the calf kicks were visibly hurting Usman by round 3. So that money in the bank was paying out in round 3 for Parkin.
1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. And like I said, Usman landed like clean nukes. However, Parkin's chin, like, he may need to be the chin of the year nominee.
Yeah, like, because in the start of the fight, he ate like a 3-piece from Usman, just like bop, bop, bop on the fence, and was like, fuck it, I'll just swing back. I'm fine. I was like, damn.
And then in round 3, he ate the nukes like he ate like straight up clean piss missiles and just like wasn't really fazed by it.
Honestly, if he's a guy that eats shots worse, like if his body language reads worse when he gets hit, he probably loses this fight.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, his chin may have won him this fight, like which is cool to know about him, because we knew he had a slick jab. We knew he was kind of technical for a heavyweight. We knew he's good size heavyweight. We didn't necessarily know the guy has like an elite chin at heavyweight. Like, that'll take you a long way.
So we're gonna call him Mick Parchin now.
Mick Parchin, Crimson Parchin, baby. But yeah, so he gets the unanimous decision. All 3 judges 29-28. I have it 29-28 Parkin. Honestly, one of those fights I was glad to be wrong on, because A, it was a 1-star, so I mean, hold that against me if you want to, and B, we got an undefeated heavyweight, goes from 8-0 to 9-0, and like a heavyweight I can actually give a shit about, which I'm desperate for.
Yeah, the division needs it. He's young. He trains with Aspinall, the current interim champ, so you know that he has a great training partner. And honestly, yeah, I'm pretty high on Parkin. Now, this performance wasn't my favorite, considering I'm not the highest on Usman either. But, I mean, I do see top 15 in Parkin's future.
Do you do Parkin Williams?
Probably, yeah. Honestly,
good.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense too in the school of thought that Williams is just going to try to wrestle again, but this is a guy that has a good jiu-jitsu gym, so maybe he can do something off his back, or he can get off of his back, and or he's a more dangerous striker, at least from a technicality standpoint. Because Tafa just throwing bombs. You know, it's easy to get inside of bombs. It's hard to get inside of jabs.
Williams, part of his strategy is kind of pushing the pace, and like I said, he always wins by decision. That's why I bet it. And like Parking can basically match that. I mean, as good as most heavyweight, like better than most heavyweights. So yeah, that'd be an interesting kind of matchmaking. But basically, it's kind of cool to have two heavyweights like on a hot streak, like not some gazebo bullshit. Like,
oh
these
man,
guys have some skills. These guys have some skills.
well, and thankfully for Parkin, he's not 35. I feel like we always get heavyweights at 35, 36, 34. It's like, god damn, man.
Yep, no, for sure, brother. But let's keep it pushing. So really the headline of the night.
Yeah, story of the night.
The story of the night, what came off the prelims, which is why you should be watching the prelims, and which is why if you're watching this, you're our type of person. But yeah, man, we got debut on debut. Andre Lima, 7-0, minus 160, taking on Igor Severino, really De Silva Severino. I saw De Silva on some websites. I think DraftKings had it at De Silva. UFC website and Tapology have it at Severino. It was hard to get a read, but Igor from Brazil, we'll call him, 20 years old, 8-0, plus 130 dog. I bet it early in the week, so I got it at plus 160, so shout out. And
I think I got it at plus 150 Friday.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, on that one. But yeah, so debut on debut, and I rarely bet debut on debut, and maybe this is more evidence why we shouldn't, because there is so much unknown. But here's kind of my caveman logic. They were both undefeated, both fighting similar caliber guys, basically, right? Lima had a bunch of decisions, few finishes. Had almost all finishes. So
all finishes, 4 TKO, 4 subs.
Finish. Yeah, and it was the fact that it was both half and half like Rachmanov. Call it caveman math if you want to. I mean, I was like, I'll bet this after not watching him fight ever.
And we also applied gym logic here, which we should have done later. We'll get to. He's out of shoot box, which we love the young killers that come out of shoot box. We constantly talk about like who's this young guy out of shoot box, and he's just some killer.
Well, speaking of killer, that'll come to factor in here in a second. Now, that being said, I mean, that was in right away because round one was a war. I mean, this fight was fucking awesome. I love these young Brazilian flyweights. I really do.
Who's
the other one that gave Pop a hard fight?
Oh, God. Felipe Dos Santos? No.
No, it's Dos Santos. It's something Dos Santos. Yeah, Felipe Dos Santos. That's him. 23 years old. Basically the same thing. Just like came for a war.
Yeah. All these guys just come for war every time. That's why I was like, I like the shootbox guy in their debut because he's ready to go to war.
But I mean, in all fairness, Igor from Brazil, as we'll call him, he was ready, man. I mean, round one was a war, super subjective. I could legitimately see an argument for either guy. I gave it to old Igor, man, because he got 3 takedowns, the knees and elbows. Granted, he ate some knees and elbows as well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it could have been either guy. But also, I thought he was moving forward most of the round, had Lima on the back foot. Now, Lima, he got up from all those takedowns. He was winning a lot of the scrambles. He threw up a couple sub attempts, and he landed his own elbows. So, I mean, I just basically coin flip round. I gave it to Igor. How'd you see it?
I quite literally have it written as the exact same coin flip round. Can make a case for both. I scored it to Lima. I thought specifically one step in elbow. I was like, holy shit! I don't know how Severino ate that.
For sure, yeah, zero issue with it.
I don't know if you noticed. Felder was cumming himself when these guys were fighting with the elbows that were landing.
I thought the broadcast crew was great. Actually, I tweeted from our account about it. Senko, we're Senko ball watchers,
bro. She's a shark in the water.
Like, I'll take over Bisping and DC right now. Fuck the projecting to the future. I will take over Bisping and DC right fucking now. And old bloke from England.
Oh, yeah.
And probably Joe at this point. Joe seems like a casual at this point.
I honestly really like her with Felder, too, because they break down the fight really well together.
Well, and we've been high on Felder from the jump. I think our first ever Prime Cuts of Years award, we gave Felder a Commentator of the Year when most people didn't even like him yet. We were instantly in on Felder.
Yeah, if you had Anik, Senko, Felder, what a squad.
And then I got to say, man, obviously Fitzgerald, not one of the stronger broadcasters. However, You know how like NBA has like most improved player?
Yeah,
Like
Fitzgerald's
I would
getting
get
better.
like noticeably, like compared to like the start of the Beefy Boys era. Like
Well, I'll say this: it felt like Fitzgerald when he started, like legit did not know fighting, and now at this point, like he actually is able to identify positions and makes like good insights and is able. He's he's still not as good as Anik at getting the ad reads in. That's where he like really struggles is like fitting those ad reads in the right times. He doesn't seize those moments properly. But otherwise, I thought he did really well.
he's getting better, 1,000% getting better. Yeah, no. So I just want to shout him out because he doesn't get much love. But yeah. So let's keep it pushing. I can't believe we got off on a Brandon Fitzgerald tangent.
By the way,
the headline of the night.
2 judges Lima, 1 judge Severino in round 1. So
Fair.
that paints the
Totally
picture.
fair.
Fully war coin flip round.
Now, round 2. I mean, they're back at it, right? But I honestly thought
Severino was ahead.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And he was in an advantageous position. He had like a back. What do you call that? Like just a body lock, like a rear body lock.
Yeah, it essentially just was, had the hands locked around the waist and was behind him.
Yeah, and then he has his head kind of buried, like in the tricep of Lima. You can't see much live. The fight gets stopped because, mind you, Lima had been grabbing the fence the whole fight.
The whole fight.
So they were up against the fence, and I just assumed the ref. Do you remember who the ref was? Was it Tonyoni?
Tonyoni, yeah, because he warned Severino early for fingers like being close. He was like, "That was really close to an eye poke. That's a hard warning." And then he gives Lima grabbing the fence like 3 times. Like that's a hard warning.
Yes. So when he stopped the fight, I just assumed, and I guess shame on me for assuming, but I just assumed it was for a Lima fence grab. It was not, folks. It was not.
All right, we got to get into the logistics of how you bite someone's tricep with a mouthpiece on.
How do you do it? I don't understand.
Well,
as a football player, I wear a mouthpiece. I couldn't bite shit with that thing.
I get the bottom teeth being able to catch, like, if you have a hard underbite, I totally see how this could work. But this guy doesn't. He has an overbite, first of all, so like he had to try to get his lower jaw to extend underneath to clasp on tricep skin. And then, bro, you know how hard you got to bite with a mouthpiece to get indentations through a mouthpiece?
From the top teeth.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you got to bite hard.
Inexplicable. Because, like I said, it wasn't like some desperation move where, like, he's literally fighting tooth, claw, and nail or whatever they say. Like,
and it wasn't
he was
like
in an advantageous position.
Yeah, he wasn't getting his ass beat either. Like, it wasn't like he was just getting dog walked and found himself, like, biting to find a way out. Like that's where I disagree with Dana. Is he texted Kevin Iole and was like, yeah, that's like the wrong way to find your way out of a fight is essentially what he was saying, and now he's out of organization, blah, blah, blah. Which the UFC did cut him immediately, which, I mean, I guess.
I'm not mad about it.
The ref disqualified him immediately. No warnings, no points, which I do want to talk about that as well. Because, like, what's more dangerous? I want to ask you this as far as level of danger, knees to a grounded opponent versus biting.
Oh, see, you're not going to like my answer. Biting for sure, because I want knees to a grounded opponent to be legalized, so I don't want to be a hypocrite here. And then, like, biting, there's so much risk of infection. I mean, the bacteria. I mean, the bloodborne illnesses. Granted, that's already a risk in MMA. But, like, biting, you can't have it. You can't have it.
So that's my answer. It was assessed as because like Ali was like really they're like someone I think I saw a tweet that was like they don't take a point for that and my simple like thought was it's just you can't do this. Like there's a hard standard of like throwing a knee in a fight is allowed, biting is never allowed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, in an eye poke, you're defending, you're parrying, you're jabbing.
Unless you straight up go with the Captain Insano.
Yeah, the Captain Insano. Yeah, but like the biting is basically like guaranteed Captain Insano. Like there's no practical application. Like there's no
that's my point is
deniability.
There's no place for that in the sport whatsoever. There's no situation ever where your mouth should even be around any part of your opponent unless you're getting choked out and they're forcing their arm into your mouth.
100% agree. I mean, it's unfortunate, but also like can't have
it's
it.
just so dumb, man. And then like,
Well, and me and you were set Igor betters, so like we both had straight bets. This is our dog of the week, and I gotta say, I mean, I'll throw an asterisk on that motherfucker. Like, sorry if it
yeah,
seems like I'm trying. Like, it's the first biting DQ I think in UFC history.
yeah, and of course it's our dog of the
Like,
week that does it, and he's winning the
yeah,
second round, and already had a judge that scored the first for him. So
I
he
can say
was
I thought he was up basically 2 rounds. Like,
on one judge's card, he was going to be.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, it's a bad beat. It's a bad
It
beat.
is. It's a legitimate bad beat. Now we'll get to a fight
Oh,
a little later.
real quick.
No, yeah, we'll stay on this. But I'm saying a little later we'll get to a fight that is not a bad beat. It's just a fucking can on can, and it's a bad gym, and we'll fucking get to it. But as far as this goes, what's next for Severino is what
Well,
league are you fighting in, buddy? Because it ain't the UFC. And what's next for Lima is, I guess, just another debutante.
well,
Honestly,
what was next for Lima was the fucking tattoo parlor.
shout out.
So he gets a bonus for this. Dana is like noted on saying on record, he said this was the I fucking got bit bonus. And apparently it was gonna be 25 grand, not a full 50 grand. And then but so after the fight, Lima goes to Vegas, there's a million tattoo parlors open late. So after the fight, immediately like showers up and must have headed straight to the tattoo shop. And he got the bite mark tattooed, and he got I fucking got bit bonus in like a circle font around it. Dana saw the Instagram post and was like, "Fuck it, I'm giving him 50." Hey, man, that shit is awesome. Like I feel like the Luke Thomases of the world and the people that are always bitching about fighter pay and shit, they won't like that. The same people that bitch about him giving money to the no boys and shit, they won't like that. I'm here for it. I find that shit fun. I'm not a pocket watcher. Like if Dana thought that shit was awesome and wanted to fucking make sure like, he was taken care of, I'm here for it.
Here's my thing is, who decides who gets a bonus? Dana White. Anybody else? No. So anybody else can shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no,
That's
for
honestly
sure.
where
Like,
I'm at with it. Like, that's how it's always been. Nobody else has ever had a say in the bonuses. So why are we going to switch up on it now and say, like, well, Dana just pay these guys more? And it's like, listen, motherfucker, if he wants to hand out bags of cash, let him. What are we talking about?
yeah, especially when you're the only person ever to win a fight from getting bit.
Like, honestly, that's like a poor man's mindset is like, oh, no, he needs to pay everyone more. Like, we need to be, like, more equal on equal ground. It's like, bro, can you just be appreciative of this guy just getting 50 grand for getting bit? Like,
yeah,
fuck.
this guy from the slums of Brazil, like I'm here for it. Like, yeah, no, that like yeah, I'm stoked on it. I thought it was a fun, cool storyline, win-win. Make something positive out of like a kind of a bullshit situation. Like, you know what I mean? We ended up getting like a smile and a laugh out of it. But let's keep it pushing here to some bullshit women's bantamweights, and it sucks, man.
The OnlyFans Bowl.
Every time I watch a women's bantamweight fight, I swear to God, I'm like an eternal optimist. I'm like, especially lower end women's bantamweights, I'm like, maybe, please. Like, just much like I said with heavyweight earlier, I was like, I'm just hoping for somebody to like give a shit about, right? Like, let me get an exciting performance. Let me get a new favorite women's bantamweight because I really don't have one. Like every time I watch new women's bantamweights, I answer with like this optimistic mindset. And then we get this shit, dude, that your typical women's bantamweight snooze fest. Like, people were fucking kind of complaining. I thought this fight was worse than the main event. People were bitching about the main event. I thought this was like a bad example of women's MMA more than that.
So I literally hated this fight. You have Daria Zalesniakova minus 250 and Montserrat Rendon plus 205. It's a matchup that is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist versus a girl that can strike and move. So it's pretty obvious what the UFC is trying to get here is a finish, one way or the other. And what we get is typical bantamweight bullshit where neither girl really gets anything impactful done. Hey, with the exception of, it seemed like Rendon, when she landed, was doing damage to Zalesniakova. Now, I do want to point out, that Russian white skin gets real tattooed up from every strike that lands.
See, and I'll push back on that because Felder and Singo were talking about that, but like, what about the blood leaking? Like that has nothing to do with skin tone.
Yeah, I fully
like,
give. I'm just saying, like the first time she got hit with a body shot, it was like a bright red circle, and I was like, it's just like.
Yeah, but then by the second round, when her nose is leaking, that don't matter if you're from Zimbabwe. Your nose is leaking. Your nose is leaking.
Yeah, no, fully agree. And like, I might be crazy, but I scored the fight for Rendon.
Okay, me too.
I scored 1 and 2 to Rendon and 3 to Zlesniakova.
See, that's crazy. That's how you know this fight was bullshit. Because I gave 2 and 3 to Rendon and 1 to Zlesniakova.
Let me see the official scorecards here. I got them right here. All right, so we have.
I mean, I have close written in every round. So
yes, I agree.
Not dying on any hills.
So 2 judges had Rendon winning 1, and 1 judge had Zlesniakova winning 1. And then 1 judge had Rendon winning 2, while the other judges had Rendon. So here's what's crazy: is it's 29-28 unanimous, but the judge that scored 1 for Zlesniakova scores 2 for Rendon and 3 for Zlesniakova.
In my score, I have 1 for Zlesniakova and then 2 and 3 for Rendon.
And what's crazy about that is Mike Bell and Junichiro Kamijo have 1 for Rendon and 2 and 3 for Zlesniakova.
I mean, but see, here's why I'm not even mad. A, I didn't bet it. I did pick Rendon as a 1-star. Who cares? But what I'm saying is, like, this fight sucked, and that's why you couldn't score it. Like, what were you scoring? Were you scoring the, like, Rendon striking looked like shit, but for whatever reason, Zlesniakova looks beat the fuck up? Or
it was like, so weird, Rendon, right? Right? Like Rendon didn't look like she ever landed clean, not once in the whole fight, but she was busting open Zlesniakova's face. I couldn't understand it.
Me neither, but then I was like, well, I gotta score damage, right? Like,
that's me too. And then and then any control time, like the little bits of it that there were for Rendon anyway, so I was like,
exactly.
If we're gonna say damage is even equal, which it wasn't, then we go to control, which is still Rendon. Yeah, I thought. And so I guess round 2 is where we both agree Rendon wins. That's where she really starts busting open Zlesniakova. But 2 judges have that round for Zlesniakova.
Yeah, I don't really get that. I don't love that. Like, I like your scorecard. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I'm not dying on any hills. I had 1 for Zlesniakova and 2 and 3 for Rendon. I don't think any judge agreed with me. But I really just don't think it matters. Like, even after this win, I have Rendon at fucking 23 in bantamweight, which is near the bottom because it's a very thin weight class. And I have Zlesniakova at 26. Like, I mean, this division is just ass cheeks. I hope Nora Canole fights soon. That's somebody I still have a tiny bit of faith in. Tainara Lisboa is somebody I still am really hoping can, like, go on a run and, like, give me a reason to give a fuck. I mean, Island Perez's OnlyFans is probably popping, but I don't think she's going to go on a run. Like, I don't know. This division is just, it's a mess, dude. It's a mess.
For me, and this is going to sound rough, these 2 girls fought in the I don't give a fuck bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, the winner didn't go up. The loser didn't really go down. I have them both in the bottom 2 tiers. Like for example, like Jocelyn Edwards probably beats both of them, and I don't give a fuck about her. So it's like
100% agree.
Yeah, like why care? But man, let's keep it pushing to like one of my coldest takes in the recent era of Beefy Boys. And
me too.
Like we got John O'Aarons plus 135 taking on the debutante Stephen Nguyen minus 160, and that's actually what we got him at as well. So that line did not move at all in the featherweight division. And so if you watched our betting episode, once again, shout out to you. But if you watched it, we were basically saying that like John O'Aarons is an auto fade can, and no matter who he's fighting, even a debutant we know nothing about, we're going to bet against him. You know, that obviously comes with intrinsic a little bit of risk, just kind of baked into the strategy. But overall, I like when we do that. I like when we fade the cans. We have an overall net green positive record of doing that.
I believe this is the first auto fade can to win since we've started doing that.
I believe so as well. So that being said, I had to win on 2 different parlays. I recommended it to a homie of mine who hit me up about betting advice. So sorry, P Black, let you down on this one. What we were unaware of, though, not an excuse.
We should have.
I need to get better. That's on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is one where we just have to eat all the shit because it's something that we could have found a clear research point that we realized literally as the fight started. It was like if we had been on a FaceTime, we would have looked at each other just like blank face, like, no fucking way. And that is the fact that Saif Saud is the coach of Stephen Wynn. That motherfucking guy cannot get a fighter to win. In the last, I think, 8 fights, Fortis has not gotten a win.
It's whack because the best team always ball washes him. They're like, oh, one of the greatest in our industry, the genius, the general, Saif Saud. And I'm like, yeah, fucking general of the L Army.
Yeah, who's he the general of? The Nazis in World War II? Dude, the other thing... The other thing about Saif Saud that I just like cannot get past, and I think this is a legitimate reason why his fighters are losing. Dude, he needs to fucking learn code words. He yells shit so clear and so loud and so often that as an opponent, if I was fighting like against him, I would just listen to what he's saying and then understand that's what's about to happen.
Well, I mean, as a former middle linebacker, like if you give me like what play you're about to run, like, yeah, cool, like I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Oh, so I don't know your blocking scheme, but I know where the play goes. Okay, fine, I'll figure that shit out midway. As long as I know where the ball needs to go, I can get there in that.
Oh, I mean, that's the only reason I was ever good, dude. I mean, I was an undersized linebacker. Mediocre speed. I was good at diagnosing plays. Like that was like all I was good at. Like I was elite at that. Like literally, like I'll toot my own horn. I'm NFL caliber at like reading a pulling guard or like diagnosing a screen or like, you know what I mean? Dropping in front of the slant route because I know you're doing a 3-step drop or like I know when the back's at this depth he's going for a pass or whenever he's even he's taking a sweep. Like I was so good at that. Like that was the only reason I was like good at sports was that. So like, yeah, like what you're saying, it's like Saif Saud is just gonna like gift wrap that for you.
It's like imagine if you're playing defense and your coach yells at you outside linebacker blitz cover 2. You don't think the quarterback just heard you say that?
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good analogy. Yeah, no, I feel you. We got to start fading Fortis MMA fighters, which that's on us. That slipped through the cracks. I look at a lot of data points. Jim is one I'm going to pay more attention to, but them beating around the bush. Jarno Aarons beats the dog shit Stephen Wynn.
Dude, every round. And I couldn't find a round for Stephen Wynn, and I was searching for it.
Push back. All judges agree with you. I gave Wynn 3, but it's the same reason why what was it? I said Rose Namajunas punted around 5. Like I believe Jarno Aarons punted around 3. So it's not even really shine Nguyen's wheels. It's just I thought Jarno Aarons, he knew he was up 2 rounds. You know, just kind of dicked around. Dude, like I don't know. I
like, are we not watching film? Because Jarno Aarons' one weapon is the inside long uppercut. And he landed it probably 6 fucking times in this fight and hurt Wynn probably 3 times with it. It was absurd that he kept landing that long uppercut.
I'll say this, and I don't say very many nice things about Jarno Aarons. He's like an intense dude. Like everything he threw had like bad intentions. And we always like talk on the Bosharat brothers. We're like, how far can you go with this like sparring-esque technique? Like, this is the exact opposite of that. Like, it's almost like a heavyweight. Like everything is a piss missile, which works against the winds of the world. I'm basically saying, and we talked about this in our text thread. This was can-on-can violence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that this is Jarno Aarons proving he's not a can. I just think is right there with them in Canville.
Well,
and I literally reflected that in my power rankings. I had them both. I didn't really raise Jarno Aarons up. I just dropped Wynn way down.
This is going to sound crazy, but if Stephen Wynn goes to Milwaukee and trains at a different gym, if he goes to Philadelphia and trains with those guys, I think he's like a top 50 UFC guy in featherweight. I think he has the skills. I think he needs a coach that won't yell the shit out for his opponent to know it's coming. So that's going to help him a whole lot because he'll actually maintain a little bit of surprise. And then it's like, he's still young. Dude, the Saif Saud fade, I can't fade him harder right now. As far as auto fade Can versus auto fade Saif Saud, I'm going to auto fade that gym against an auto fade Can.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something you're not going to get from a lot of shows. Like, real talk, I listen to other MMA shows, and I don't hear really that strategy given out. And I feel like that's something we learned the hard way this week. So
I'll be honest.
Learn it from us so you don't have to learn it the hard way yourself by betting on a Fortis fighter.
In comparison to, I mean, hell, basketball does this now with AAU at the level it's at, but wrestling specifically, when you have a state champion guy in high school, typically the guy that's one weight lower and one weight higher have to wrestle that kid every single day, and it makes those two guys so much better because they have to go against this dog every single day. That being said, I don't see the dogs at Fortis anymore, and they have a bad coach. So it's like, it's just a gym culture thing. We got to fade that gym culture.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And let's keep it pushing because this is one of the few things on the prelims I did see accurately. Talk about auto fade Can. We got Cody Gibson, 36 years old, coming in at only plus 120, which I was all over this value. I think I had this as a 2-star. I had it in 2 different parlays. Miles Johns, minus 140. We got him at minus 135, so we'll take that extra little bit of points on the value there. Bantamweight bout. And Cody Gibson, bro, I think he was 1-4 in the UFC coming into this one. I don't understand why this money line was set where it was. I mean, I was all over this. I mean, I don't think Johns is a world beater, but Gibson is an actual can, not just a debatable can. He's a can, for sure. He's a can.
He's a can. He's old. He had quite literally what people are calling the easiest season of tough to fight in because he fought only brand new MMA guys, whereas he's pretty much a seasoned vet. Vets versus rookies, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? But more to the point, Miles Johns is very well rounded, and I just think is a little bit better than Cody Gibson in every phase. So yeah, your read on this was insanely good, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not even a Johns ball washer. Where do I have Johns rated? Let me see. It's not. I have Johns at 3. No. I have him at 42.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But Gibson's in the 70s. Right. It's just
And I think that was apparent. I mean, I didn't score a single round for Gibson, and also I want to make sure this is noted. One of the judges for this fight was Chris Lieben, who I like.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I like that.
That's really cool.
And he scored all 3 for Johns, which makes me feel really good about scoring all 3 for Johns as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gibson's best round was round 2. He got 2 takedowns, but in one of those takedowns, he got reversed, and he got out-damaged in that round for sure. So it's Gibson, yeah, I mean, he had nothing to offer. Johns, I mean, he's a short guy. He's an athletic guy. Some decent power, but I see flaws in Johns' game. Like I said, I have him ranked at 42, and I didn't raise him higher than that after this. I think there's a lot of guys. For example, I have him behind Nate Maness, and Nate Maness fights at flyweight lately, but I still have him in my bantamweight rankings because he kind of bounces back and forth. Johns is beatable. Johns has flaws. The cardio, everybody's talking about it's much improved. It's still an issue. The striking is awkward at best.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's just he's good at everything. He's not better than good at anything.
Yeah, and then you mix in the short stature, the tangible measurables. I think he has a low ceiling and a high floor. This is why I have him right in the middle of the bantamweight division.
Yeah, he's a guy that won't probably ever break top 30 in his weight class. Actually, I can say that confidently he won't, but I don't think he falls outside 50 or 55 in the next 3 or 4 years. He's only 29. That being said, This was another big thing for me. Gibson making bantamweight at 36 years old. I mean, we talk about how that's tough for those guys in championship bouts under 32 for I think 45 and under. So Yeah, this was an easy auto fade. Great read by you. This does hit one leg of the parlay that Stephen Wynn decided to fuck off for us, but all three other legs hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so you had a 4-legger that was 3 out of 4, and I had a 3-legger that was 2 out of 3. So it's tough betting on Fortis fighters. But
Yeah, no
we'll keep
doubt.
it pushing here to more featherweights. Ricardo Ramos, minus 185, taking on Juicy J, Julian Erosa, plus 155. And man, if guillotines didn't exist, Ramos might be the GOAT.
Bro, how crazy is it that Julian Erosa openly admitted that he pretty much MMA mathed his way to, like, yeah, I can win this by sub because, like, I subbed a guy that subbed him, therefore I can sub him. Like, said that in the post-fight interview. I said that as a joke, like a bold-faced joke on the betting show. I was like, oh, well, MMA math, and then we both laughed. Like, that's not how that works. Well, I guess in Julian Rosa's head it is.
Hey, bro, MMA math works all the time, baby.
Let's not
the
act
time.
like Julian Erosa wasn't getting pieced up before.
Oh, he was. He was, bro. And that's what makes this kind of hard to, like, power rank afterwards. Because, yeah, man, I mean, this fight lasted 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so it's really hard to make, like, kind of a glass half full argument for Ramos here.
I would say Erosa lost 100 seconds of the fight out of the 145 they fought, or 135.
Yeah, seriously, like, he was getting beat the fuck up, wobbled, pieced, clipped, whatever word you want to use. Almost shoots actually a pretty solid takedown attempt. Like, I don't even think it was necessarily like a bad attempt to shoot. Kind of well timed. It was working basically. And Erosa jumps Gilly, which 90% of the time we're yelling at our TV like, "Don't jump, don't defend a takedown with a Gilly." Fucking shout out Dustin Poirier.
I ain't never going to stop.
Don't be silly, jump the Gilly. I bet Poirier fucking needed to change his pants after this.
Oh my god, man. Also, shout out to Theo Vaughn. I saw a tweet recently. He was like, "Damn, he knocked the croissants out that man." Whenever he knocked out Dustin or Benoit, but yeah, man, like Ramos looked so good in this fight until he got his neck caught. Like he was dominating until he got his neck caught.
Yeah, which it's like it's such just a bad fight IQ, lack of awareness, lack of like. I don't know, bro. I'm kind of like out on Ramos, and for the same reason. Like, so even after this fight, you could say, "Oh, first round finish Erosa," but not really. He got outperformed.
He literally got lucky. Like this is like pulling the rabbit out of the hat.
But at the same time, like Ramos deserves some blame for that, right?
Yeah, but it's like I'm not going to really slide Erosa up as much as I'm going to drop Ramos, if that makes sense. Like this isn't a one where the pathway is upwards for both guys. Is more so it's like it's a more downward trajectory for one.
To your credit, I have them both in the same tier now. I mean, I have them both in the same tier. I have them in the 46 to 50 tier at featherweight. Like,
you know what's so weird is like Julian Erosa, if these guys fought 10 times, I bet he could catch Ramos 4 times out of the 10, but I bet Ramos beats the absolute shit out of him the other 6.
I think that's a good way to put it. And then Ramos, it's like I can't move him too low because he is dangerous, but also like I can't move him high because literally anybody that's ever done a guillotine in jiu-jitsu class has a chance to beat him.
It's so true though, man, and that's a pretty easy sub to hit considering it means like it's your opponent being aggressive against you, which is way more common than you having to catching a knee bar. There's a whole lot of setup you got to put into that, or an arm triangle, whole lot of setup you got to put into that. Guillotine, almost no setup at all.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. So like anybody on the roster can basically sub him on any given night. Good one for Erosa. Did he get a bonus? I think that, like,
no.
I'd rather hear. No, hear this out though.
No, but
hear
like, bro, Yusuf Zalal not getting a bonus.
Stephen Wynn got a bonus for a fight of the night. That's what I'm saying. Take his money and give it to somebody else. We didn't even mention that on that breakdown. That did not deserve fight of the night. That was number one bullshit.
I mean, for me, there shouldn't have been a fight of the night. What it should have been was
that's probably, what I'm saying.
Yeah, it probably should have been a bonus for Zalal, Talbot, honestly, probably Shabazian and Padilla. Like, it should have just... Or, yeah, should have been those 4. Those are the 4 finishes.
We didn't mention on the win fight because we're too busy crying about our lost bet. But yeah, did not deserve fight of the night at all.
That you know
Yeah,
what that
but
was? You
yeah,
know what that was? That was to get Jarno Aaron's 50 grand, but he didn't get a finish, so it couldn't just be a flat out performance. But Dana really liked what he saw. And then I think he thought for Stephen Wynn, like, you got your ass whooped for 15 minutes. Like, thanks for standing in there for that. That was like a sympathy 50 grand, which I don't like.
yeah, I'm not a big fan here. But yeah, man, I'm kind of out on Erosa and Homos to be honest. Like I think Jung Young Lee beats the shit out of both of them. I think Fernando Padilla beats the shit out of both of them.
I think
You know,
I think I think Erosa at this point right now, if I'm Dana, I'm sitting in a dark room. We're feeding Erosa to young lions.
yeah, for sure. Or young Tigers in the Jung Young Lee sense. But yeah, let's keep it pushing here. Kurt Hallbaugh, another participant of that dog shit season of Tough. I faded all the Tough guys and I actually won money off of this one. 37 years old, Hollabaugh plus 120, taking on Trey Ogden, who's like not a world beater, but like only like good fighters have beat him, and he seems to be getting better. And coming in at minus 140 here, Ogden also only another guy, much like Carl Williams, which is why I had this two-leg method of victory parlay, only wins by sub, at least in the past 4 years. I mean, what am I saying? Only wins by decision in the past 4 years. So I parlayed Ogden by decision, and I got it plus 130. So Ogden was minus 140 money line, but by decision plus 135, and he only wins by decision. So like Vegas gave me that one. Vegas said he was going to win. He only wins by decision. If you've ever been to Tapology.com, go ahead and get that plus 135, baby.
Absolutely right. He threw 66 significant strikes on the feet. In the fight, though, he threw 320 total strikes, meaning he threw 250 on the ground. He had 11 minutes of control time on 3 takedowns. Essentially, every round he would get 1 takedown, and then the round would end that way.
Well, and like, bro, I should, as an Ogden better, I was super paying attention. Like, I had my finger on the pulse of like, is Ogden going for the finish here? And just like basically the answer was like no. I've never like talk about a zero sweat bet. Like literally, like Ogden was just like he wanted that decision bad, and I'm
Bro,
like, thank you, Ogden.
He was like
Thank
joking.
you, dog.
He was jokingly telling Hollabaugh in the last 45 seconds, like, just give me the arm triangle. I want the sub. Just let me have it. And Hollabaugh keeps telling him, not gonna happen, not gonna happen, not gonna happen. Just keeping his arm down, like, no, no. And you just keep hearing Ogden go, come on, I want my submission. And it was like, I think you're just talking your way into a decision.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I knew once he started talking about it, I was like, oh,
Also,
this bet is cash, baby.
Fun note here, he's Miles John's coach.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, and they both won. Honestly, something Safe Saeed could never do: win 2 fights in a fucking night.
Yeah, he himself win a fight while he's calling out all of his strikes to his opponent as he does them. Right cross, left hook. Can you imagine?
Oh man, but see, like Trey Ogden, man, I got him at 40 at lightweight, which is like that's not a backhanded compliment. Like he's a good lightweight.
Yep.
He is not anywhere close to top 20, but he's also nowhere close to a can. Like he's very good. You have to be very good to beat him.
Yeah, you know who is a can? Kurt Hollabaugh.
Oh, for sure. Which is why, like I said, like I knew Ogden was gonna win, and I knew Ogden wasn't gonna go for a finish. Like it was Ogden by decision. I think that ended up being like plus 544 on the parlay or something
Which
like
is
that.
insane.
Maybe plus 511. 2-legger. Williams and Ogden by decision.
We got to start giving out your 2-leg method of victory every week because you're crushing the method of victories.
I think I'm gonna do one every week. Like, bro, it's the best value ever. I had like a plus 4 something and a plus 500 2 weeks in a row on a 2-leg. Like super obvious. Like I'm not trying to be a smart mark here. Ogden and Williams only win by decision. Well, I'm not trying to sound like a super genius
it's
here.
Also not like you're picking like straight.
Obvious.
It's not like you're picking straight dogs. You're just saying like I think the favorite wins by this outcome. Like it's the best
by
way.
the only way that he wins.
Yeah.
And I like this guy's gonna win. We all agree on that. Okay, cool. There's only one way this guy wins.
You know what's hilarious is like early on in our like betting infancy, as I'd refer to it as, we realized this with Derek Lewis, and you won 4x your money on a single bet with it, and then we never went back to the well. We said, that's too risky. We can't do that. Seemingly, as we've gotten sharper, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, a quick glance at Tapology. Like, if you think a guy's going to win, how's he going to win? Or on Verdict. They give you the same information on Verdict. How does the guy win and how does the guy lose?
Well,
like if you're...
To our credit, though, and I do have to give ourselves a pat on the back here, we haven't missed a fight in 3.5 years. So it's like, if as far as like watching tape, I mean, you have your own rankings. It's like we do everything. We're factoring in fading a gym now versus even the fighter himself. I mean, we're so deep in it that, like,
great. It feels great. Like, it's paying off. Yeah, the hard work's paying off.
But we're so deep in it that when I even see odds for a fight and I think about, like, does this justify the winner? I think about it as, like, well, how is this guy going to win if he does win? You know what I'm saying? Like, I already think about it now when I even see the fights.
Yep. Which like I said, there's a ton of value there. Like I said, Mir's chart last week.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
He's going to win.
Like, he only wins by sub.
He only wins by sub. I think he's going to win. He only wins by decision. Carl Williams. I think he's going to win. He only wins by decision. Get that money, folks. Come on. Say it with your chest. But, yeah, man, I mean, Trey Ogden, I mean, it was funny because that's why betting is also awesome, because I saw all of Twitter complaining about how boring this fight was. Most fun fight of the night for your boy. For most fun.
Oh, bro.
Cashing legs on a method of victory parlay.
It was crazy me sitting there and just being like, yes, like rubbing my hands at the snooziest possible fight. I was like a criminal, bro. I was a criminal in a Disney movie, just like, yes, lay on him.
Yeah, do not attempt to sub. Like, let's go.
Only arm triangles that Hollabaugh clearly won't let you have. Yes.
Zero damaging blows. Yes, no cuts. Yeah.
No blood.
No, for sure, bro. Yeah, I mean, Trey Ogden straight up was our lock of the week. We gave you that. Trey Ogden by decision was our prop of the week. We gave you that. So not our sharpest week overall pick-wise, but, like, we still found value. And that's honestly the lesson you should be watching from watching us is, like, it's not about picking every fight right. It's about knowing what's worth parting with your knowing what's worth parting with your money over. Like I said, so I mean this week I'll own it. I think I was 46% overall picks. Guess what? Still in the green, bitches. Like, you gotta that's what matters. Like, cool, pick every fight. That's what we do. It's fun to do. Verdict, all that. But, like, knowing where to put your money, I mean, that's what it boils down to.
It's knowing when to hit and when to stay in blackjack. It's quite literally, quite simply that. It's knowing what to do at the right moment and doing it.
For sure, man. And once again, we'll be giving you these picks for free, which, like I said, we're going to give you – I mean, we're in the green 5 weeks in a row. I'll give Harrison a pass. You can lump in on me. And, like,
I will say, it's not like I had a full loss. Still made 24 back on 35, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. With that Ogden by decision. And then you have the other parlay that was 3 out of 4. So it's like, fucking
I was
silly,
literally,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if I had taken win off, or if I had put parking on, or a fucking...
Other picks you were right about.
Yeah.
Other picks you were right about.
I probably, with how hard I was on Talbot, I probably should have just rode Talbot $20 straight.
Yeah, that's another.
Because minus 155, like, it's not going to give you a terrible return, in all honesty, especially when I was that confident on it.
No, for sure, man, and it gets you in the green, folks, which we're good at doing here. So yeah, our betting episode will be dropping Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. And I got a lot of 3 stars. I've already done my research. I'm looking down. I'm seeing 3 stars. I'm seeing dogs. I got value for you, folks. Tune into that betting episode coming Wednesday or Thursday. Might as well hit subscribe so you get the notification when we drop.